Do you know what's scary about Jon Jones beating his fiance? What about the real reason why Jon Jones left the light heavyweight division? No? I think we are gonna have a long conversation, buddy. But let's start with the basics. Jon Jones is the greatest coward in the history of UFC. There is no single man on the face of the earth that can compete with him. I'm challenging you right here, right now, to disagree with me. But first, pause the video, grab some cookies, press the like button, subscribe, and watch the video until the end. The more talented you are, the more benefits you can take from steroids. Don't get me wrong, we should not put Jon Jones' talents into question, but we should ask ourselves why one of the most talented fighters that ever stepped into the octagon ever used performance-enhancing drugs. When analyzing Jon Jones' behavior and psychology, we can find an answer. Jon Jones is insecure, fragile, and a brittle man that feels extremely uncomfortable when facing adversity.
Next question, please. Thank you.
That's why he used clomiphene, letrozole, and turinabol, substances that allows you to increase your strength, natural testosterone levels, stay lean, cutting weight, and accelerate your recovery.
I would love to give you 1 picogram back, 1 grain of salt back. Thank you.
At the bottom of his heart, Jon Jones knows that he is not as fast, strong, or durable as people think. And to keep the same dominance, as the competition was getting better, he had to take steroids. The moment Jon Jones stopped using PEDs, we saw Jon Jones on a wheelchair against Thiago Santos and barely winning fights against Dominic Reyes. That is Jon Jones, the normal human being. That's exactly the fighter that Jon Jones has tried to hide from you through illegal activities. But thanks to USADA, he was exposed. Being Jon Jones means that you have to sabotage yourself to cover up your weaknesses. He has to party hard because he doesn't have the discipline to follow a pro athlete regimen. He takes heavy drugs like cocaine because he can't handle problems on his own. He breaks the law repeatedly because he doesn't have morals nor integrity to respect it.
1 week before every fight, I would go out and I would get blacked out wasted. And my logic was, if this guy were to beat me somehow, I can look myself in the mirror and say that, well, I lost because I got hammered the week before the fight. So
these disgusting mental clutches prevents Jon Jones to reach next level type of star, but helps him prepare for the Judgment Day. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the Judgment Day is coming, and it might be closer than we think. We can say many things about Jon Jones, but none of them is more accurate than this. Jon Jones is the protagonist of the greatest ducking in the history of combat sports. And I will tell you exactly why, because it was extremely smart. He never said he wouldn't fight Ngannou. He asked more money than it would ever be possible for such fight. He has embarked on a 3 years pseudo self-improvement journey that left his body with 30% body fat. This ducking was so good that people didn't even realize that he was ducking. That's how smart Jon Jones is. But as soon as Ngannou left, oh boy, Jon Jones is back. and is back quickly and smiling and as a whole new person.
Man, the idea of a Jon Jones fight seems awfully exciting right now. And Jon came out, tweeted, said, "Show me the money." What appeals to you most? Because it seems like that would be an amazing super fight.
If I'm Jon Jones and I'm home watching this fight, I start moving to 85.
You think that's a fight that you'd like to put together next? I mean, I know we don't matchmake, but that sure does seem exciting.
Listen, I could sit here all day and tell you, what show me the money mean? I tell you guys this all the time. If you can say you want to fight somebody, but do you really want to?
Okay, just between me and you, do you really think that Jon Jones left the light heavyweight division for no reason? Jon Jones couldn't take the fact that a guy like Dominic Reyes almost took the best of him. This fight make all Jon Jones insecurities go through the roof. Jon Jones was not taking steroids, was by himself against a guy of his height and did poorly. Very, very poorly. To the point that we don't even know if the judges didn't benefit Jones.
It was exactly what I wanted and what I needed. Somebody who's tall. People think I'd be bad against tall people, so I'm excited for this challenge. He's undefeated.
This was so severe that Jon Jones put on his mind that he was done with the lightweight division and the only direction he could go was up. But guess who became the champion in the meanwhile? Francis Ngannou.
This guy tickles my pickle, and
if Jon Jones was a man, the moment he crashed his car against other person's car, he would get out of the car, run to the other person's car, see if the person is well or not, and call the 911 or the police or whatever the procedure is to make sure everyone is safe. This is how a real man would behave. A man of courage, a man of integrity. But that's not the Jon Jones we have, isn't it? So what Jon Jones did instead? Jon Jones had run away from the place, came back to grab his spot and left again without ever checking who was in the car. And who was in the car? A pregnant lady with a broken arm.
Why didn't you look at the other car?
Because it all happened so fast. So it all happened so fast, and I just knew I just thought the person that I hit had to have been okay, because I was totally okay. I was like, maybe this collision wasn't that hard.
But you didn't even look.
No, I didn't look. No.
Wow.
Luckily for herself, she was capable of calling the 911 and have the situation resolved. But if it wasn't for that, the situation might have been pretty much worse. Jon Jones, by taking these decisions, just makes his life harder. If you want to see Jon Jones shaking, you just have to put him in the same conference room than good journalists. You put Jon Jones in front of good journalists, and the good journalism itself will make Jon Jones tremble. Will make Jon Jones shake from fear that journalists do the tough questions.
This question's for Jon. Hey, Jon, you're 30 now. So I'm wondering, as you turn 30, I guess on the 19th of July, what would you say about your 20s? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it somewhere in between? How would you look back on that decade in your life?
I don't really like you, Luke, so I'm not going to answer your question.
And if they do the right questions, you know what's coming. Jon Jones will bully them, act childish, talk over them, so nobody can listen the truth. Jon Jones is afraid of confrontation if he knows that he is in disadvantage. This is a pattern that we have seen multiple times during his career.
Whether it's a picogram or a pictogram, why have you tested now positive?
Next question, please. Thank you.
Oh wow! All right.
Sit down.
I'm sitting down.
Look, I want to
Thank
take the
you.
mic from her. Better questions. Better
just wanna
journalism.
know-
I don't understand what your question is.
His question is, why you talking shit? That's his question. Why the fuck you up there talking shit?
Why Jon Jones' most famous technique is an illegal technique. This guy eye pokes his opponents repeatedly and without showing any sign of regret. He even makes fun of it. Makes fun of the fans accusing him of eye poking his opponents on purpose.
Jones put his finger in his eye, the dirtiest fighter in MMA.
Why you do that? Why Jon Jones eye pokes his opponents? For very simple reasons. As a massive coward that he is, he wants to have a significant advantage over you and will do it legally or illegally. That is why. Because if you think the 1 minute or 2 minutes time that the referees give his opponents to recover is enough, you are crazy. You have never been eye poked in your life. Because it takes hours to recover from an eye poke, 2 days, depending on the severity of it. The moment Jon Jones eye pokes his opponent is at a massive disadvantage. And that's exactly what Jon Jones is after. An unfair advantage.
They had to change the rules because of him.
Open hand lock.
When I fought him, whenever I was like have any type of advantage, he'll put his fingers in my eye. Let me do this right. How uncomfortable is this right here? That's uncomfortable. Your eyeball is your weakest thing on your body, right? So when I was fighting him,
Eyes and nuts.
he was like this the whole time. It's hard to train for this too. And so
Jon Jones, as a professional fighter, has the responsibility to preach for safety. Because there are these type of fans who think it is cool to be choked by their favorite fighters. But you know what? When someone chokes you, the blood and oxygen flow is cut from your brain. This is a dangerous thing that should not be done for entertainment or leisure purposes. But Jon Jones, instead of saying it and invite them to learn instead how to escape from a choke, he just chokes them. Because it's easier and he doesn't have the balls to do the right thing. Jon Jones is a smart guy, and he is a specialist in victimizing himself and making excuses. And he resorts to the same few tricks, which I'm going to show you shortly, if you don't mind. Among his favorite tricks is dissociating his present self from his old version and behavior, because he has evolved and is in a different place now. He says things like, it was a poor decision at the time, or resorts to the environment and circumstances as culprits of his actions. He also loves to say that his behavior is actually quite common, more common than most people think, but it just happens that he is famous, so everything is fine. He also uses Christianity as an excuse.
You know the haters, as soon as they hear you say that, they're gonna be like, look at this guy talking about his faith and his Christianity, he's so fake.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Christians are not perfect people, we're just people, you know what I mean? We just believe that, that there's Jesus Christ, we believe that he loves us, and that, no matter what we do,
His doors are always open for us, you know, no matter how far away we stray from him at times, his doors are always open for us.
The Christians are not perfect. It's yet again another attempt of shove away the blame of his wrongdoings. Jon Jones is extremely smart with this. He never fully accepted the wrongdoings of his own and always puts himself as a victim of fame and his poor decisions.
Everybody feels like they have the right to tell me to get my shit together. And at the end of the day, you know, I sit there and I humbly take it because
they're right.
Yeah, they're right. But at the same time, you know how many motherfuckers there are in the world. There's very few people who are perfect and flawless and just that clean cut, never did anything wrong athlete. The whole situation was just a shitty situation. I was in a really bad point in my life.
You all got your demons. You guys are watching Pornhub and doing whatever the hell you guys are doing at home, so I'm not letting nobody judge me too hard.
Policies. A black man can't drink. Getting elected into the Hall of Fame, and now this is what I got.
Jon Jones' cowardice and insecurities continues by this, saying that he is the GOAT.
I'm talking to all you Khabib fans out there. 15 world titles to your guys' 4. And you guys are really talking about who's the best fighter ever? You guys are joking, right? 15-4? Are you guys kidding me? The only person that could possibly come back and challenge my record and what I've done in the UFC is possibly Georges St-Pierre. He would have to come back and win 2 championship fights to tie me. And I'm not even retired yet. I'm 33 years old. I got a whole nother chapter to go through. You guys are nuts. I love you guys so much. Hope you guys all have a great day. 15 world championships to 4. And if all you guys are going with this he's more dominant argument, the guy just recently started fighting elite level competition. Could you imagine me against the number 10th ranked guy?
If you are really sure of yourself and you are actually the GOAT, people will say it. He doesn't need to speak that he is the GOAT over Khabib just because Khabib has only 3 defenses. He doesn't have any need for do it. The real fans, the technical fans will analyze and will decide. The journalists will decide, the specialists will decide. There is absolutely no need for Jon Jones to speak that he is the GOAT over Khabib, over GSP or whatever. This just shows the massive lack of confidence and insecurity that he has. As unlikely as it might seem, with these statements, Jon Jones is looking for validation. Once upon a time, I saw Jon Jones being moralist and paternalistic towards another human being. Can you imagine a guy with this lengthy criminal and illegal activities record saying you are a terrible human being? Jon Jones tried to convince an audience that Colby Covington was so much worse than him.
I've made a lot of mistakes and a lot of people don't consider me to be a good person, but I mean, coming from me, Kobe's a really bad person. He really is. He really, really is. I mean, there's no coincidence that, you know, Tyrone Woodley got to know him and hates him. Masvidal got to know him and hates him. I got to live with him and really don't like him. If any of you guys got to know him, man, he really is a rotten person. I think the MMA community is going to start to see it over the years.
But guess what? There is no criminal record under his belt, and everybody knows that Colby Covington is playing a character to survive in the competitive world of UFC. Instead of Jon Jones wasting his time trying to taint the reputation of other fighters, he should try to learn from his own mistakes.
Any advice? Upcoming fighter? Yeah. just you gotta commit your whole life to it, you know. And you gotta make the sacrifices daily, you know. Don't just be a fighter, you know, for a couple months at a time. Be a fighter year round, you know.
Back-to-back weekends. Cocaine one, your ass the next. It was great. That's a month for the ages.
Yeah. Guys are out partying on the weekends. I was in the gym. I was waking up early. I was eating good food. You know, I wasn't drinking alcohol. I was staying dedicated. So I just believe in myself. Never stop believing, my brother.
Thanks, man. Actually, I appreciate that.
Hey, homeboy, how much they paying you to pretend to be a nice guy? How much they paying you? Hey, to pretend to be a nice guy.
Do you know what's scary about Jon Jones beating his wife after receiving a massive validation and becoming an Hall of Famer? Do you know what's scary? What's scary is that when these type of situations go public, when we know that someone beat his partner, that's because it was not the first time. Statistically, when this kind of news go public, there is a long history of past violence. That's what's scary. Not only that, but Jon Jones was on a good day, man. It was a good day. The guy received an award.
Imagine the best day.
So that was like a good day type of beating. Imagine when he got home from Dominic Reyes or Gustafsson fight. We should ask him, was this the first time you beat your wife? This is the question to make, and we don't know. This is actually extremely scary. Jon Jones' better male mindset puts him on this situation where he doesn't have the balls to solve his own problems and then pours his high-level MMA skills on his fiance, to the point that she starts bleeding from her nose and mouth. Yo guys, this video could continue for hours, but hopefully you got an idea why this is the greatest coward in the history of the UFC. If you don't agree, just let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe and order your picogram merch.